they've stated.
Well, they've stated that,
Right.
right. We don't know when push
Once
comes.
Where?
Denver.
Tracy?
Went out there, she got a
I
farm.
think we're ready.
Okay, after.
Although it's still red light.
We're all set?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, I would like to...
Still red. For the green light.
I thought it was red. What light am I looking for? That red light there?
I think
thought
you
it
were
was
ready
always
to go.
red. Yes, I thought it's on, I think. If anybody's watching this, they'll know that.
It's not live.
It's not live?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, I'd like to call to order the January 15th, 2015 Board of Assessment Review. And before we can begin our meeting, we need to elect a new chair at this point for the new year.
I move to re-elect the current chair.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second to elect Alan Peoples as chair of the Board of Assessment Review. Can I vote?
Yeah, all those in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Thank you. So I would like to call this meeting to order. May we have a roll call, please, Tracy?
Mr. Herrick?
Here.
Mr. Frothingham?
Yes.
Mr. Peoples?
Here?
Mr. Parkinson?
Here.
All right, why don't we do the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to just welcome everybody to our first meeting of the new year, 2015. And we have our first item is the approval of the minutes of August 7th, 2014. I think we... Does anybody have any questions on those minutes?
Now I'll move the minutes as presented.
All right, we have a motion to accept the minutes
I'll second.
in a second. Any discussion on those minutes at all? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting and approving the minutes of
Aye.
August 7th? All right, unanimous. All right, item 6 is the discussion of Attorney Dale's request that the board to continue or leave on the table their appeals until February 28, 2015, or 30 days after the decision of the Maine Superior Court on the challenges to the April 1st, 2012 assessments, whichever comes first. We are going to couple items 6 and 7, which is, item 7 is the discussion of Attorney Block's request that the board continue to be stayed until 30 days after the Superior Court decision has taken final action on the 2012 appeals, or 30 days after February 28, 2015, whichever occurs earlier. We'll take them individually, but what we'd like to do is link the dates to both concurrently, so there's some, so the dates of when it ends and starts are the same. So, Derwood, would you want to?
Sure. There are two letters that the board should have in its packet. One is a letter from Attorney Johnson Block dated December 31st on behalf of Appellant Lee T. Sprague, and he's asking for the board to extend or to stay this the appeal of that's pending before the board until the court case of the 2012 is decided. Earlier of 30 days from the court case decision or February 28, 2015. I spoke with the assessor before the meeting tonight, and the court case has been heard. The oral argument with Justice Horton, that was in December. I think he said December 9th or December 9th. No, December 9th. It's obviously a complicated case. It may take several weeks to decide, but the court indicated it would be into the new year before it makes this decision. I would expect that the court will issue a very detailed decision. Before I comment on everything, then there's a second request from Attorney Bill Dale, who, as you recall, represents 10 Proutsneck property owners who have a case pending at the Superior Court as part of those same cases that were heard in December, and he's requesting that the matter be left on the table until February 28th, the earlier February 28th, or 30 days from the court decision, whichever comes first. So they're aligned in their requests. What makes this a little confusing is that you already voted in August to extend the period for the John Block, the Lee Sprague matter, until April 1st, 2015. That's the date that the board would have to make its decision. So my commentary would be you might want to consider, instead of talking about the earlier of date, you might want to flip that and say the later of, so you don't have to unnecessarily come back here just to once again extend it. I think the board's been always very accommodating about extending within reason. So perhaps a way of addressing this is to say I move that the board stay the 2013 abatement application of Lee Sprague, represented by Attorney John Block, and those Proutsneck property owners represented by Bill Dale, which we think is about 10, until the later of 30 days after the Superior Court has taken final action on the 2012 court appeal, or April 1st, 2015. So, and this is something I'm just adding, and that the statutory deadline for the board's decision be extended to June 1st, 2015. Because what's going to happen if you have to go through another full go-around like you did before, it's a 2 or 3 night process. And, you know, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it did come back, it could go on. So you might want to push that to June or May, so you've got a little breathing room. They come back in April and start or earlier, if the court gets going earlier.
Would the June 1st be the 60-day?
Yeah, that would be the kind of the outside. Under state law, you're required to decide within 60 days. That would be the kind of your outside deadline. I mean, all those dates, I don't have a strong opinion about what date you pick, only that you just don't cramp yourself too much and have to come back here yet again to extend.
You know, I mean, that's why I want to link them. I don't think we need to try not to have come back and take separate votes on if we're
right.
if we need to find out we need yet another extension to come back. So I kind of like the April 1st, the latter of the April 1st, and then giving us 60 days subsequent to that within, if we have to hear them again, which would be June 1st, right?
Right. I can't imagine they would be unhappy with that.
No.
Not exactly what they asked for, but I did place a call to both of them, but it was later in the afternoon today, and I didn't hear back. But I'm sure their main objective is to preserve their rights to this appeal.
Which this is what I think our answer to them would give them that, clearly, and I think it would give them plenty of time. Any discussion on this,
No,
Bernie?
I'm fine with that.
All right. Chris?
Yeah, no, that works for me.
You want to read that, Benny?
No, I'm all...
You want me to read it again?
Will you read the motion into... Yep.
Yeah, I tried to write it down.
And I wanted to
think I
send
did
it
a good job.
Yeah, and I'll give this paper to you. I move that the BOAR say that 2013 abatement application of Lee Sprague, represented by Attorney Jonathan Block, and those Proutsneck property owners represented by Attorney William Dale, until the later of 30 days after the Superior Court decision, the Superior Court has taken final action in the 2012 court appeal, or April 1st, 2015, and that the statutory deadline for the board's decision be extended to June 1, 2015. That makes sense?
It does make sense.
Okay.
I need a motion.
Do you want us to read it again when we
Oh, you
motion?
did say it's so moved.
So moved.
Second.
And a second, we have any discussion on this matter? Would the assessor like to add anything to that?
No, that
Any
makes
questions on
perfect
that?
sense to us, yep.
Okay. All right, we're having it a second, moved and seconded, and no discussion. All in favor of the new motion, please raise your hand. None opposed? All right, motion carries.
Tracy?
All right. Here you go, Tracy. Which leads us to the appeal of Barclay McFadden, 3 Bird's Nest Lane. I noticed that the applicant is not in attendance tonight. We do have a letter from...
The only correspondence I've had,
Okay.
it was delivered Tuesday at 8:01.
When was it delivered? On Tuesday, 8:01 a.m. I'll read this into the record. This was from the applicant. It says, I missed the deadline for submission of the requested documents. Is it possible to delay the hearing until March? Barclay McFadden III, 46 Murray Boulevard, Charleston, South Carolina. This was sent on January 13th at 8:01 a.m. Thank you. Durwood.
I think the board should take up the request for the postponement from Mr. McFadden first. And if the board postpones the hearing and allows him to submit his materials at a later date and come, then we're finished for this evening. If the board decides not to grant that postponement, I would recommend that the board consider the materials that Mr. McFadden has submitted, the response materials from the assessor, and allow the assessor to make a presentation about his rationale for the assessment, and then the board can make its decision based on that.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Well, we have this. May I have this again? We have this request by Mr. McFadden to do another hearing, and the only this is a sparse submission, quite frankly, and it just says he missed the deadline for submission of the requested documents. So, any thoughts on the board here?
Well, he's asked for time to submit whatever information he's going to submit, and my hunch is that you may want to consider that. I mean, he's missed the deadline, but he knows he's missed the deadline, and he's thrown himself on the mercy of the court, as it were.
Yep.
And I think we should err on the side of being eminently fair as opposed to being hasty in our judgment.
Machiavellian.
All right. You said it.
Yeah. All right, Chris, your thoughts?
To be honest, I guess I could go either way on that. I agree with you to an extent, but at the same time, I would like to. We did set a precedent in the past that we would extend under certain circumstances. Lady had a situation with a family member. She came to us, and we did move that. I mean, there's part of me that wants to just be able to push them off, but at the same time, what if we got into a rash of a bunch of people, and we'd be pushing them all back because they just didn't do what they needed to do. I kind of hate to set that precedent that we'd be okay with that if you don't do your part. We've given a date. We gave them. How long did he have? 30 days or something from the time.
Yeah.
And
He
we're
was
just
told
hearing
on
about that.
December 11th.
But if we had heard about it a week before, hey, look, I'm not doing very well on this. I'm not getting. I think I'd be more understanding of it, to be honest with you. I don't know, I guess I'm looking for somebody to sway me one way or the other, but I'm not feeling real joyful about that.
Bill?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, our office, or my office, I should say, would object to the extension for the reason being Mr. McFadden knew when his documents were due. We filed ours in a timely manner. He has since got our materials, and we'll have them for over 2 months to do whatever he's going to do if it is extended till March. We still don't have anything from him. My understanding in looking back at some of the past cases is the extensions that were granted were based, the materials were in, but something else came up. Either they were doing for the convenience of the board or a family issue, medical problem, or something to that extent. And that's why we would object to the extension being granted.
Circumstances beyond their control.
Correct.
Thank you, Bill.
I think that kind of just swayed me.
Well, Tracy, where did March date come from? Was that is that a date where?
No idea. He must have picked it. I have no idea.
Okay. You did, that's all you had? You didn't talk to him personally?
No.
Just that?
No.
Well, I think that if they're going to throw themselves on the mercy of the court, as you say, Brownie, it'd be best to put their best foot forward, and I guess in this case it really wasn't the best foot forward. I mean, it just was a simple email, and as I said earlier, it was kind of sparse in its detail for us, and he, but having said that, he also was in Charleston, South Carolina, and I know it's winter time, and I would, and this is a board for the people to come in and talk to, and to try to air their grievances if in fact there is one, or if they can prove there is one, a legitimate one. And I would hate to cut someone off from doing that. I think it's important that that this board be able to hear the grievances of the appellants, the applicants. So, having said that, I think that although I understand where the assessor's coming from, as I said earlier, you showed up and were ready to make your case. I wish that Mr. McFadden had done a little bit more diligence by presenting himself to this panel in telling us a little bit more other than a concise email. But again, I'd rather err on the side of giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I guess I would agree with extending it once for him under these conditions to a date certain, sometime in March. Again, there's not any suggestion of exactly what day in March, so but that's where I'm kind of come down on this. So, Joe, we probably would just take a vote on it generally, and then figure out a date subsequent to that, or take a motion with the date. Well, so let's vote on it, because we don't know which way it's going to go.
Sure.
I don't think we do, but we probably do. All right, all in favor of granting an extension to Mr. McFadden, Mr. Barclay McFadden, as his request in his email dated January 13th until March. All in favor of that, please raise your hand. Okay, all opposed? One. All right, so we have 2 in favor, 1 opposed. Motion carries to grant his extension. Now let's decide on what that date would be.
Typically, you meet on Thursday night, and there's issues of room availability. Right, Tracy?
Trace?
Throw it a date in March that you I'll see if it's available.
The Thursdays are the 5th, the 12th, the 19th, or the 26th.
Bill, is there anything, I'll go to you first since we're imposing on you twice.
The 5th is no good.
That was gonna be my problem date. That's my daughter's birthday, so.
Good, okay. Fifth is not good. I will defer to what date is good for you, because you did show up and you were here, so.
I might go to Tuesdays instead of Thursday.
Go to Tuesdays instead of Thursdays? Okay.
I feel like we've had a lot of Tuesdays.
We have had a lot of Tuesdays.
All right, what do we have open in March on Tuesday?
17th is St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if that matters to anybody.
Well, let's X that one.
Be interesting.
Thank you,
Tuesday the
Chris.
3rd, March 3rd is wide open.
That works for me.
Tuesday the 10th.
Let's go
Don't
over
have the
Monday.
schedule. Yeah.
Playoffs.
Oh, I think,
Look up it on your phone. That's right now.
Mondays?
Town of Scarborough. I can't.
yeah, I might have a
Wanna
conflict.
look at Mondays?
I thought the playoffs were February vacation.
You thought what?
High school basketball playoffs, aren't they February vacation?
Right.
You should be okay.
Yeah, I think by March,
I'm fairly certain that the playoffs.
which will be a state game.
Well, that
You
would-
won't be in it.
The state game would be a
I won't be
Saturday.
here.
State game would be a Saturday.
Right, right, that would be a weekend.
Yeah, it would be on a weekend.
Let's do it a little later in March, that way, I think we, do you have the schedule there at all, Sue?
We're trying to get it.
Yeah.
Make it as big as you need to.
Anyone do a Wednesday?
Are things open on Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That would be much better. Is
Okay.
Wednesday okay with you, Joel? Yeah. Fine?
Fine.
How about you can do Wednesday?
Mondays, I definitely.
Monday's a tough day because it starts the week and sometimes
How about
things get...
Wednesday the 25th, March 25th?
Whoa. Just check my schedule.
I think March they start getting small.
The end of
I
March,
remember
yeah, it should be, at that point,
There's
I
a
think.
couple weeks off, so I'm
March. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I think March 25th would work for me.
Be okay?
Yeah.
All right. March 25th, what time?
7 a.m.? I mean...
7 a.m.
7 p.m.
You want to do 7 or you want to do 6:30?
6:30 works for me, but doesn't Kathy have an issue?
No,
with-
she's
On a Wednesday.
I think hers is Tuesday night.
It is
She
Tuesday.
works late.
Oh,
I think Wednesday should be okay.
well, I would rather do 6:30 then. I was just saying 7 for Kathy.
Get it
All right.
going.
I mean, I
Actually, let's move it to 7. Sorry.
What's that?
I have to work until 6:30, so let's move it to 7. It's a Wednesday.
Oh, it's a Wednesday.
okay.
Okay.
So
well,
7 p.m.?
7 p.m. then it is.
On the 25th, Mr. McFadden will get a letter tomorrow stating that his motion was granted and that his new hearing date is March 25th, and any information that he has needs to be in by March 15th, 10 days before the hearing. Also the same for the assessors if you want to do any more.
No,
That will be stated in the letter that it's due by, actually it would be March 16th because March 15th is a Sunday, so.
Okay. Very good. Bill, did you have any
No,
comment on that?
that's fine.
Okay. Any other comments on that? All right, so we're, March 25th it is, at 7 PM to hear the McFadden appeal. Very good. And any new business to come before the board? Here, Durwood, nothing?
No, both set, thank you.
Okay. Then do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
First, second? Second? All in favor? Raise your hand. Thank you very much for all coming.